Welcome back. Today we look at the progress made in fighting an infection that causes inflammation of the brain and spinal cord. It's World Meningitis Day. The World Health Organization is aiming to defeat this dangerous infection within the next 9 years, make it the year 2030. There's a roadmap, I'm told, in place for that. The medical director at Sanofi Pasteur Vaccines in South Africa, Dr. Nasiha Soofie, joining us this morning here on eNCA. Dr. Soofie, good morning to you. And I was just saying before we went to an ad break that taking a look at the symptoms of meningitis, they look very similar to flu, and more worryingly, they look a lot like COVID-19. Good morning. I imagine it's very difficult for people to understand the differences.
Good morning, and yes, thank you for having me on the show this morning. Absolutely, and to your point, invasive meningococcal disease, which can sometimes present as meningitis, is an incredibly aggressive infection. And what makes it even more challenging is that in the early stages of infection, that is the first few hours of being exposed to the bacteria, the patient will present with symptoms that look like the flu. And very often when these patients go across to their healthcare professional, to their GPs, nurses, pediatricians to get care, they are very often misdiagnosed. And it's only about 10 to 15 hours later when the patient starts to present with the more typical signs and symptoms of a meningitis, like the stiff neck, a throbbing headache, petechiae, or for instance, photophobia, fear of looking into light. It's only around about 10 to 15 hours later that the healthcare professional will start thinking along the lines of a meningitis, but usually at this stage it's too late to treat.
And I suppose this is where the problem now comes in, because I think many people are very concerned about COVID-19. The danger could be that you start self-diagnosing. It's just a runny nose, red eyes. But what I think, Doctor, is more concerning is that when someone who does have meningitis goes to the doctor and it's being misdiagnosed, I mean, how do we get on top of that particular problem?
Now, this is where the challenge lies. And unfortunately, there's no way around it, because when a patient comes through to you and they've got mild flu-like symptoms of fever, a bit of body aches and pains, as a healthcare professional, there would be absolutely no sign or symptom suggestive of a meningitis. So you would not necessarily call for a lab test, for instance, unless the physician is sensitized to the topic and takes a thorough background history. And then again, if the patient is not aware that he had previously been in contact with a meningitis case, even a thorough background check would not assist. So there's really no way around the challenges when it comes to a diagnosis.
Well, I do imagine, Doctor, in the last question to you, if I may, the meningitis vaccine, surely that's where we start getting on top of this. We prevent it rather than try and cure it, surely. All right, Dr. Soofie, I think we have lost your signal for the moment. A bit of a breakup in Zoom. I'm going to try just one more time, Doctor, before I say goodbye to you. Dr. Soofie, if you can still hear me, your line froze a bit. I was asking about the vaccine. Are you still with me? No. All right, I'm afraid not. It looks like we have, unfortunately, lost that line. But the reason I was asking about the meningitis vaccine is that they are readily available as well, and particularly there is a call for young children to get their meningitis vaccine as soon as possible. I'm being told that we can try one more time with Dr. Soofie. Doctor, hello again. I lost your Zoom link or Skype link for a moment. You can still hear me, I hope so. Tell me about the vaccine and how this could try and get us on the right track. I can. Go ahead, Doctor. Yes. All right, no, it's definitely not on my side this morning. Doctor, it's a real shame, the joys of modern technology and Zoom and Skype. I am going to say goodbye now, though, to Dr. Nasiha Soofie, Medical Director of Sanofi Pasteur here in South Africa, about the vaccination for meningitis. It is today World Meningitis Day. Just like many industries,